Avo komi shelahigia lemadrega zu. Said a tzaddik has to be libi cholo bekirbi, that he bechol doesn't have a yitzhahara harge betainis. Avo komi shelahigia lemadrega zu. Someone didn't reach this level. Afshes chuyesav merubim al avinesav. Even if he has much more mitzvahs than averis, eini b'maylas umadregis tzaddik klal. He's not in the level of a tzaddik of what's be'etzem a tzaddik, the shemateyah. And like he said, he's not even a beinani. And that's the first thing, like we know all the stories that we see them learn Tanya, they said halavaya beinani. That we come to the realization that even a beinani is very, very far. It's not enough to be schuyesem, rubim al avinesav. If you have any averas, you're not even a beinani, and for sure not b'maylos umadregis tzaddik. V'lochein omru razal b'medrish ra kadosh baruch hu b'tzadikim shehem muatim omad v'shaslon b'chol deir v'deir v'chul. It says in the Medrash that because there were so few tzadikim, the Eibishter planted them in every generation. Every generation should have their tzadikim. If a tzadik would mean schuyesav berubim al avinesav, it does nicht as they feel muatim. Why is it so few? There's people. Yeah, it has to be someone who works, but there's people who work and they achieve to be schuyeseyem merubim al avinesav, to be more mitzvahs. Most Yidden who are trying to be Evdei Hashem, they could at least get a ribui, right? Majority. That the Medrash says that it's muatim, and that therefore the Eibishter had to spread them out in all the generations, is because a tzaddik is, like we said, is someone who's a whole different level. Yeah, that hargi b'tainis. And the Rebbe in L'Kutei Sichos is medayik on this. It says v'lochin amru razal b'medrash, even though it's a Gemara. This that it says Ra kadosh baruch hu b'tzadikim shemuatim omad v'shasam b'chol deir v'deir is a Gemara. Why does the Alter Rebbe call it b'medrash? Because in Gemara it's a Agadita shebegemara. Chelik Agadita is sometimes called medrash versus the part of halacha. But the reason why the Alter Rebbe over here, the Alter Rebbe could have just said v'lochin amru razal Ra kadosh baruch, right? The whole word b'medrash seems extra. So the Rebbe explains that hagufa, that's what the Alter Rebbe is emphasizing. We said before, v'hada amrina ba'alma, sheiteichen chazal. It's also mamari chazal, it's Gemara, it's a Rambam, that gives this definition of reiv schuyis mikri tzadik u'mechza mechza mikri beinani. So what's this? What's the tivach between the two mamari chazal is hagufa. That we said a shema mushal and chelik ha'alocha shebeteira. So the Gemara is over there, oisin, it's looking to give the psak din, to give what's going to be, who's going to be zeicha b'din. That's what's negeya lahalacha, the practical nafkamina. And therefore Ataka uses the shema mushal, because the shema mushal is addressing who's zeicha b'din. Mashein kein in chelik ha'medrash shebeteira, chelik ha'agada is, over here is negeya versus the emes. Not what's going to happen in his din teira. That's more of a halachadik idea. Vas is there? Mitzad pnimis, mitzad mehusay. In the medrash, therefore, pasnish the shema mushal, and therefore from the medrash we see another raya to the true definition of a tzaddik, that tzaddikim shemuatim, because it's not someone who's very few, the one who's hargei b'tayis. And like it says in the pasuk, v'tzaddik yisei de'elam. Since there's so few tzaddikim in every generation, so we refer to the tzaddik as Yisei Deilom. He has to establish the world. If there was anyone's chiyes in the room, there's not a tzaddik Yisei Deilom. And the Rebbe over there in the L'Kutei Sichos, in the same place, explains that this Kamei Shekasav tzaddik Yisei Deilom is also adding another nekuda. That just like we said, there's levels. There's tzaddik v'raloi, tzaddik v'tevloi. In tzaddik itself, there's levels. Right? Even in tzaddik v'tevloi, there's levels. There's tzaddikim shehem muatim. Amad v'shaslam b'chol deir v'deir. Lashon Ram said there could be a few tzaddikim in every generation. And then it says v'tzaddik yisei de'ilam lashon yachad. Then there's noch a hecher darga in tzaddik. That there's one tzaddik that he's the yisei de'ilam. So there's only one tzaddik like that at a time. So v'tzaddik yisei de'ilam. L'cheira, that's what we know. There's the nasi hader. Even though there was tzaddikim, there was other tzaddikim. There's others that it says on them they were a tzaddik. And Chassidim who were, Rabbi Zakama was a tzaddik who was almost able to become a Rebbe, except that Alter Rebbe told him not to, right? Haistas, he was a tzaddik for sure. But that tzaddik Yisei Elam, there was one tzaddik Yisei Elam, that's the... Ach bir ha'inyin, pi ma shekasav ha'rechav, b'shar ha'kedusha b'etz chayim, shar gimel perek beis, shar nun perek beis, the l'chol ish Yisrael, echad tzaddik ve'echad rasha yesh shtei neshamas. D'chsiv u'neshames ani asisi. The first yisod to the answer is, in order to understand, what is taka tzaddik, on a benini, on a rasha, what is it? So the Alter Rebbe says first we have to understand who you are. Everyone has two neshamas. What this changes before the Alter Rebbe, it's not before the Alter Rebbe, this is not the Alter Rebbe's Chiddush. The Alter Rebbe is bringing this from Reb Chaim Vital, from the Arizal. But without this, we also know Chazal is full of the fact that every person has a Yetzer Tov and a Yetzer Hara, and like the Mamari Chazal that were already quoted earlier. So what's the big change? That now we're giving them a new label, we're giving them a new name. It's not the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara, it's two Neshamas, Nefesh Elokis and Nefesh Abahamis. Still two different drives that we have, right? The difference is that you say this, take a difference. Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara is about what I do, the way I behave. Yetzer Tov is a force that pulls me to good. Yetzer Hara is a force that pulls me to bad, wherever it comes from. Yeah, what's the Mefarshim? But what's Negea Yetzer Tov? Yetzer, don't listen to the Yetzer Hara, listen to the Yetzer Tov. And therefore, these are the forces that help us determine what we're going to do and how we're going to behave. That's all with the earlier understanding of tzaddik and rasha that has to do with what I do. That the whole focus of a better person or a worse person is how much did I do? What did I do good and what did I do bad? And Alter Rebbe Chassidus Pnimius Atera is looking deeper, looking into our Pnimius. We're not just looking at what we do and what we don't do. We're looking also what we are. And therefore we're not discussing a Yetzer Tov and a Yetzer Hara, the drives, the urges, the forces. We're discussing where that comes from, that we are our nefesh. Nefesh is my chayis. Nefesh is what I am. I'm a nefesh. Deeper there's a guf. The guf has chayis in whatever language you call it. But that everyone understands. There's a pnimius, which is the nefesh. And the nefesh itself there's two nefashes, which means what I am. I have two aspects to what I am, and the definitions of tzaddik and rasha is going to be determined by what's going on inside of me, by my pnimius, by my nefesh, and in the details of the makeup between the harmony between these two nefashas, like we're going to learn by Riches. Every person has shtei neshames techsiv. It says in the pasuk, on neshamois ani asisi. It says lashon rabim that the Eibishter said, I made two neshames. Shehein shtei nefashis. These two neshames are two nefashis.
What's the difference?
A neshama is a lashon naila. It says by the Mabul, Kol asher nishmas ruach neshama ba'apei meisu. So the Zohar asks, what do you mean they were Rishon? What do you mean Kol asher nishmas ruach chayim ba'apei? The Zohar says that the pasuk is referring to the tzaddikim who were there before the Mabul. They died before the Mabul, and therefore it was able to be the Mabul because there was no one who had any schusim anymore. It says neshama is a high darga. Nefesh ruach neshama goes on seichel. Neshama is the higher level. The Alter Rebbe says shein shtei nefashes. This two levels is not just there in neshama; it's there in nefashes. Nefashes is the whatever you call it, but we know there's a chayas, the actual chayas of your guf. The nefesh is the lowest level of chayas. In nefesh, in the level of nefesh, there's two nefashes. Because otherwise a person could say to himself, you talk about neshamis, yeah, you're talking about something that's up there, some higher level. Like the Rebbe explains, we say Yaakov and Esav ha'amurim beparsha. Because Yaakov and Esav, the way you're spoken about in Torah, doesn't really have much to do with Yaakov and Esav, the way they were down here in the world. That's the Yaakov and Esav. So the same thing we could learn in Chassidus. like a mechayev, about our avos Hashem and yiras Hashem that comes from our nefesh elokis, are all the things we're going to learn about. But that's my neshama. What does that have to do with me? We have now we learn new mishalim chassidus, right? Because new circumstances create new mishalim. We have our quarantine police. They come to the door. They knock on the door. Who are you looking for? By my house, for example, who are you looking? I'm looking for this guy in his paper. Oh, you're looking for Yanko? Yeah, Bacher Yanko. Yanko is sleeping in the basement. Could you call him? I can't call him because he's in quarantine. I'm not allowed to go to him. Right? You could go knock on the other door as much as you want, but he's probably not going to answer the door because he's not allowed to answer the door. He's in quarantine. Right? This was Ma'aseh B'chol Yeh. Right? That's it. So that's what we have sometimes beruchnias. You come with a psavart, a Yiddish vart. Ah, you mean my neshama? Yeah, my neshama is in quarantine. He's in the attic. He's in the basement. I don't know. He's somewhere else. Yeah, you could knock if you want, but what's the chances he's going to answer? He's in quarantine. Last time I spoke with my neshama was 15 years ago. We don't have an ongoing communication, an ongoing relationship. We never had lunch together. When's the last time we had lunch together? The neshama is the neshama is up there. We're talking about me. Says the Alter Rebbe, shein shtei nefashos. Side the nefesh elokis, and side the nefesh habahamis, side the nature the way it is in the nefesh elokis, and the nature the way it is in the nefesh habahamis. It's me. It's not something up there. It's not higher elames. It's not in the attic, and it's not in quarantine. That's in my day-to-day life, and therefore it's something that we relate to, and that's negiyat us in a very personal and practical and daily way. What are the two nefashis? Nefesh achas mitzad klipa v'sitra achra. The first nefesh is klipa v'sitra achra, because that comes first. That's akdimei tanase. It's mitzad klipa v'sitra achra. First nefesh is not elikus, is in klipa is hidden. Everything is elikus. But where the elikus is not recognizable, like you have a peri, you have an orange, you have an apple, it has the peel on the outside, that you don't see the fruit because you see the peel. Sometimes you see the peel and you don't know what the fruit looks like. Sometimes it's better than it seems like from the peel. Sometimes it's worse than it looks like the peel, right? Take the watermelons, you knock on it because you're trying to get an idea what's inside, because you look at the outside, you have no idea. The klipa is that I don't see be'emes altzaz elikus, but where the elikus is not recognizable, it's not visible, you're seeing only the superficial, the external coverings, so that's klipa. And that klipa is called also sitra achra. That the Rabbi says later in Tanya, why is it called sitra achra? Because sitra achra means tzad achra, another side. Anything that's not kedusha, if it's not eibishter, it's sitra achra. Be'emes is doch ein eid mulvade. And anything that's not about the eibishter, that means it's klipa v'sitra achra. So there's one nefesh that's mitzad klipa v'sitra achra. Nefesh by definition is ruchni. Like everyone understands, lahavdil, even a guy. So you're alive, there's something else. There's a guf, there's a blood, there's bones, there's life, there's something deeper. Life is ruchnis. The nefesh, what gives chayas to anything that's alive, and we know that extends to everything in the world, is a inyan ruchni. Chayas is a ruchnistic chayas. But that ruchnistic chayas is not necessarily recognizable as elikus, even though chayas at any level comes from elikus. But it's not always recognizable as elikus. In the first nefesh, which is misara klipa v'sitra achra, even though it's chayas, that's what it is. But all that's felt over there is that it's just chayas itself. It's life. What is it? So I'm alive, so there's a nefesh. That's already klipa v'sitra achra. So herzach nishtan as kol inyan is elikus, which is really the reason why it's chayas. V'hiya mislabeshes b'dam ha'adam. This nefesh is mislabish in the dam ha'adam. Lahachi is a guf, and that's how the guf gets chayas. Because from our body, the dam is more of a ruchnistic part of the body. And you see how the chayas is there in the dam. Chas v'shalom, if someone loses blood, he becomes weak because the chayas comes from the dam, and all kinds of refuahs are done through the dam. Chayus is totally in the dam, and therefore the nefesh is mislabish, ki'ilu, the most ruchnistic part of the person, the part that's a keli for chayus, which is the dam, and that's the dam gives the person all the life of a person, and the health of the person is all totally in the blood. The biggest refuah that used to be that we learned about in Gemara was a kazas dam, because doing something to the dam that affected every type of ailment. So the nefesh that makes me alive, I'm alive because there's a nefesh that's mislabish in my dam, because otherwise if you just have a pile of blood, it can't make something alive. Nevertheless, blood has that tchunas that when a nefesh is mislabish in the dam, then the dam becomes a source of chayas. Lahachis aguf, and that's why the guf is alive, and that comes from nefesh. Why is the nefesh giving chayas? Chayas comes from the Eibishter. Vavaya lekim emes hu lekim chayim. And nevertheless, this nefesh, it's klip of a sitra achra, also herzich nishtal delikus. It's not seen. All that's felt over there is the chayus itself. You see, there's something more than guf. You see, there's something pnimius, but that pnimius, all you see it as is chayus. Like it says in the pasuk, ki nefesh habasar b'dami. That the nefesh habasar, this is the nefesh that makes the person physically alive. The basar is alive, and that comes from the dam. So you see that the nefesh is mislabish in the dam, and through that it provides the chayas to the guf. Umimena bois kol hamidis rois me arba yisedis roim sheba. Says the Alter Rabbi, this nefesh, we already made a big change in our understanding of Yetzer Hara. Because Yetzer Hara, the way we originally understand it, is something bad, it's evil, it's wicked, it pulls me to do something bad. Now we're saying no, there's a nefesh. The nefesh is just its chayus, but the chayus is klipa v'sitra achra in the fact that it's not felt as a chayus alikim. It's not bad, and that's why the Alter Rebbe says, this is something that a lot of the Shiur and Tanya that you see, the shtel zachar, says, the l'chol ish Yisrael echad tzadik bechad rasha yesh shtei neshamas. How is it l'chol ish Yisrael? What are the two neshamas? It's the nefesh al-kis and the nefesh al-bahamas. How is it echad tzadik bechad rasha? We already said at tzadik, ein lo yetzer hara ki hargi b'tainis.
Doesn't do anything, but is it not still there?
Ein lo dibi chala. Chala, one of the taichin, that's what we said, is it's hollow. If it's hollow, it means there's nothing there. So they actually answer it in different ways, but l'cheira, the simple answer is, we now divide it. Yetzer hara means it's bad, it pulls me to bad. The nefesh of klipa v'sitra achra, we didn't describe as bad, it's bahamas. It naturally has the instincts of a behemoth that just cares about itself. A tzaddik could have a nefesh of bahamas. But because the tzaddik's whole enjoyment is alikos, his nefesh of bahamas pulls him only to alikos. That's b'chol levavcha b'shnei yitzarecha. He doesn't have a yetzer hara because he's no longer pulled to bad, because even his chayus, that's the nefesh habasar b'damu, that gives him his natural physical life, has enjoyment and cares only about what the Eibishter wants. But, says the Alter Rebbe, this nefesh achas misarakut v'strach, even though it's not bad, it's just bahamas, it cares about itself, but that nature itself causes it to be a source of midis rois, not because it's looking for bad, but because of a nature that, like we'll learn next time.